see about how to define the function inside the class, how to access the functions, and also the different functions which are available are functions with return type, functions with void. So let's open our developer C++. So here we go for the new program file, source file. So let's write one program here. Using namespace std, iostream.h, that is for the cout scene packages we have to import. So we will define here one class. Let's say we call this as ABC. So we will declare the variables, or we will declare the functions like functions add. So it is taking two parameters C and D, and it will do the addition of those C and D. So here we will implement the logic of the program. Addition of both the numbers. So here we have declared one function add, which is taking two parameters C and D, and the return type of the function is void, means the function is not returning any value. So when the function is not returning any value, we have to declare it as void. So inside the function we have declared one variable E, which is doing the calculation of this parameter C and D. So here we are showing the sum of both the variables. Similarly, we can declare other function also with the return type. Let us say, suppose the function is returning one variable and the function name is subtraction. So here we will return the sum of both the variables, that is we will return C minus D here. So this function is having void, this function is having the return type as int. So this function is returning an integer value which is nothing but the difference of C and D here. So we will now close this class function here. We will go to the main function. Inside the main function we will declare the object of the class, that is the name of the class is ABC. We will create the object as A1. Using the object we will try to access the function add. Let us say 40, 30. So our first function add will be called here, which will show the sum of both the variables. Then when we are calling the subtraction function, it is returning an integer variable, that is the difference of both the variables C and D here. So we will have to take here one variable here which will store the return type of that function. So when we are calling the subtraction function, let us say we are passing the parameters as 40, 30. So the difference will be stored into the f variable and we will show the difference as with the variable f we will print it. So this is how we can go for declaring a functions, trying to access the functions, and we have seen the functions with the void, functions with the return type. So this function is not returning anything, this function is returning an integer variable. So we will try to save this program and we'll try to run this program. So when here there is a space which is required here. So I'll try to compile and now run. Add is private. So we have to declare the access specifiers here. By default it is taking as private, so we have to specify it as public. Okay, subtraction was not declared in this scope. So we have to use this object. We have not used the object of this class, event.subtract. Now again we will try to compile and run this program. So you can see addition of both the numbers is 70 and the difference is 10. So that is how we can go for declaring the functions inside the class. So we have to declare the class, we have to declare the public member functions. If the public member functions, if public is not used, by default the functions are private, so that cannot be accessed. So we have to specify here it as public. We have declared the member function as add. We have passed two variables here, c comma d. Here we are doing the addition of both the numbers and storing it into the e variable. So this function is not returning any value, therefore the return type is void. Here the function is returning an integer variable, therefore the return type is int. Here we are showing the difference of both the numbers c and d. Inside the main function we have created the object of the class abc_a1. Using a1 we have called the function add, which is not returning anything. We have called the function subtraction, which is returning an integer variable, therefore we have taken an integer variable f to store the subtraction of 50 and 40, and here we are showing the output of the difference into the f variable. So this is all about how to declare the function, how to access the function inside the class.